Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. I want to talk a little bit about recruiting today. What kind of inspired this video was a little bit of negativity after Williams-Nwaneri chose Missouri. A lot of people asking questions. And I got a comment that somebody said, Boogie, they are done in the class of 24. Probably pick up a few 3-stars down the stretch. That's it. This class is a wrap. Tennessee currently sitting at 9th in the country according to On3. And that's not the case. It's not over. It's not just going to be 3 stars. Tennessee is in it for some legitimate dudes. And I'm not even talking about just low-ranked 4-star guys. I'm talking about some top 50 prospects. We're going to run them down. Going to go player by player and give you guys a look at some guys that Tennessee has a legitimate shot to land down the stretch in the class of 24. Before we do that, take care of the YouTube stuff. Smash the thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. Jump into the comments. You guys know the deal by now. But I also want to talk about this hat because you guys keep asking, Boogie, where did you get the hat? This is not an ad. This is not a sponsorship. This is just something that you guys created. SoNashville.com is where I picked up the hat. I tweeted at them and said, you guys are always asking. They want to give a free hat away to one of you guys. So what you got to do is hit the join button down below. For as little as $1 a month, you can become a member of this channel. You get access to custom Talkin VAWLS emojis, fan call-in shows, all kinds of fun perks and benefits, but you are going to be entered to win this hat as well. The more you give, the more opportunities. You join at the Talkin VAWLS elite level, your name will be entered in the raffle 10 times. We will be announcing the winner next Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So let's get into it. Let's kind of go in order with who's coming next and scheduled to commit tomorrow at 1 p.m., around 1 p.m. We're going to go live at 12:15 p.m. Eastern time to cover the commitment of the big defensive lineman Camarion Franklin. On3 industry rankings has him as a 4-star prospect, top 40 player nationally, number 1 player out of the state of Mississippi, 6'5", 260 pounds, and yeah, I don't think this one necessarily looks good for Tennessee, but when we go live tomorrow, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the recruitment, and we're going to talk about NIL because that is a big factor here. His finalists, Auburn, Florida State, Miami, Ole Miss, and Tennessee. He said Auburn's like a family. For real, it's full of good people. Talked about Florida State, the development part, the greatness, the legacy you hold at Florida State. It's different. You can go there, and you'll see the legacy you could hold. The D-line, it's crazy. Talks about Miami. They came out recruiting me late, but the people in Miami, man, they're about to turn it on around for real. I could say the same thing about Auburn, too, about to turn it around. Miami, great people. You feel at home there. Ole Miss is a school that's pushing. Some people think the ability to put on for my state, put my state on my back. A lot of Mississippi kids, we don't get this opportunity. Talking about the Vols, says they recruited me for the longest out of everybody besides Ole Miss. Great people. The fan base is crazy, all that. And the culture, too. Chad Timmons from On3 talking about Camarion Franklin said he viewed Ole Miss as the in-state school that was on the outside looking in. Still looks that way. Says this race has had a few twists in it throughout the spring and summer. Tennessee viewed as the favorite for some time. And again, you know, when we talk recruiting and talk about how it's fluid and things change, that's what you guys have to see. Tennessee was viewed as the leader at one point. Says Auburn and Miami look to be the top 2 heading into Saturday. Now, why is that? Is that NIL? Is that money? You know, we saw with Williams-Nwaneri the whole, you know, the state laws and how that impacted him. Then he decides to stay home with Missouri. A lot of rumors out there that Auburn was dropping that bag on Camarion Franklin. Is that a factor? And then we go into the next decision. Coming up on Monday, Jordan Ross, also going to be covering this one live on the air. Now, there was a lot of rumors here with Jordan Ross as well. Hearing Auburn making a push. And again, the NIL money. But when you talk about NIL and how you spend that money, and it's easy to say, drop the bag, drop the bag, drop the bag. You can only do that so many times before the money starts to run out. So is that what we're seeing here with the recruitment of Camarion Franklin and also Jordan Ross? Because Jordan Ross, according to 247 Sports, 5-star edge rusher, again, top 34 player nationally according to the industry rankings. That's taking all 4 major recruiting sites, putting them together. Jordan Ross, top 40 player. That's big. That's a move. You know, that's how you move the needle. So if you're thinking that Tennessee's only pulling 3 stars down the stretch, don't quite think that is the case. But again, it's an interesting conversation to look at NIL and are they dropping the bag? Is Auburn dropping the bag on Camarion Franklin? And that's why Jordan Ross, you know, Tennessee's been in it for a while. They've been a leader for a while, but then Auburn kind of started to sneak in. But it's interesting that Jordan Ross did not list Auburn in the top 4. So again, did they spend that money on Franklin? I think it's going to be a good sign. If tomorrow we do the live stream, as crazy as it sounds, if we see Camarion Franklin commit to Auburn, I think it's likely that Jordan Ross is coming to Tennessee. Now, interesting, worth noting, Austin Price over at VolQuest keeps saying the words, "Is somebody laying in the weeds?" That quote from AP scares me, because is he talking about Auburn? Is Auburn laying in wait and going to drop the bag? If Camarion Franklin ends up at Miami, what does that mean for Jordan Ross and Auburn? And again, the quote from AP, somebody waiting in the weeds. Yesterday, Steve Wiltfong said Tennessee's been the one to beat for quite some time. Florida hit on some other targets at the edge, and they've gone separate ways. Said he enjoyed his time at Texas, but still likes Tennessee over them. Best relationships are with the Vols and Coach Hype and Coach G. He also loves this Tennessee fan base. So that one's coming up on Monday. We're going to be live streaming it. Myself, Coach Jay, hopefully will be in the house as well. I think that's going to be good news for Tennessee. So we're two prospects in here. I think we're going to go 50-50. I think we land one of the two. Now, who's another guy that is worth looking at? That, again, let me use the phrase needle mover once again, because you see Chris Cole on the screen. 6'2.5", 210 pounds, 4-star prospect. The On3 industry rankings have him as the 54th best player in the country, 5th best linebacker. He's out of Salem, Virginia, teammates with Peyton Lewis. So I think that's something to keep in mind as well. Tennessee, Georgia, probably the two teams at the top, going back and forth. Georgia probably leads right now. Took an official visit to Georgia back in June. Seemed to be trending, that's the word we use, trending towards the Bulldogs. But something worth noting, Georgia kind of tried to push him towards making a decision, but his recruitment is 100% still open, scheduled to make his decision on Sunday, September the 10th, and he will be visiting Knoxville. He will be in Rocky Top the day before, September the 9th, for the Austin Peay game. He is going to take an official visit to Tennessee. What does that mean? What does that do? How much can this coaching staff push the day before Chris Cole makes his decision? If he was a Bulldog lock, if he was locked in, dialed into Georgia, I don't think he would be taking this visit. I think that is something worth keeping your eyes on. Again, teammates with Tennessee commit Peyton Lewis. How much does that factor into Chris Cole? But he is a dog. You add him into this class with Edwin Spillman, Jordan Burns, and then, we already got Arian Carter. We're hearing about Arian Carter and Jeremiah T-Lander making plays now as true freshmen. You continue to stack that linebacker room and watch this defense continue to get better. So there's a couple of guys. We got 3 guys there. Feel good about one. Kind of a coin toss on Chris Cole. I just think it's interesting that he is going to be taking that visit. Another one that I really like that Tennessee just has a shot at, right? This is a target. This is a guy they're going to be working on. Nothing is done here. People think it's done. It is not done. That's Jordan Seaton, 4-star offensive tackle out of IMG Academy. Again, you look at the industry rankings, 41st best player in the country, top 50 player. These are legitimate dudes. This is not just a couple of straggling 3-stars that Tennessee's going down their board and trying to land. This is a big-time target, and Tennessee has already done a great job recruiting the offensive line. 2 legitimate dudes on the interior. You got a legitimate offensive tackle in Bennett Warren. If you could add Jordan Seaton, talk about a solid haul on the offensive line for Glenn Ellerby. What I like about this one is Jordan Seaton reached out to Tennessee. He opened up the line of communications. Why would he do that if it was locked up and done? This is from Chad Simmons at on3.com. Says behind the scenes, there's been a lot of talk of an early fall commitment for Jordan Seaton, but he has not hinted at that just yet. He's keeping his options open, but Florida has been one school with some real buzz around it. Visited the Swamp a couple of times, really like the offensive line coaches and team chemistry. South Carolina is another SEC program to keep an eye on. Alabama had Seaton on campus in June, and the Crimson Tide are very much in the mix. Also, Seaton mentioned other schools like Ohio State, Oklahoma, Oregon, and Tennessee. Seaton has made the move to Florida from Washington, D.C. to attend IMG Academy. So again, you're talking about a guy that this thing is wide open. It's not on the backside. We are just getting ramped up. A lot of teams there that are showing interest. So does Tennessee have a shot? Do they get him on campus and make something happen with Jordan Seaton? Again, legitimate dude, top 50 player, needle mover. We're talking about needle movers, not straggling 3-stars moving down the depth chart. Going to fire off a couple more here, guys. Cam Michael, listed there as a 4-star. He's listed at On3 as a corner. If you go over to 247 Sports, listed as an athlete. Tennessee is recruiting Cam Michael as a wide receiver. He wants to play offense. So that's interesting. Does that play into Tennessee's favor that they're recruiting him on the offensive side of the ball versus defensive side? And I like Cam Michael. I like his game. I like his speed. He's a track guy. ran a 10.5 in the 100 meters as a sophomore. Again, wants to play wide receiver, put him in this offense, and let's go. Georgia, likely the team to beat here. Tried to convince him to push his commitment time frame up. Wanted him to make that decision sooner rather than later. We see that a lot with Georgia. We see that a lot with Clemson, kind of strong arming guys. We've had the conversation on this channel, the difference between that approach and more of a laid back approach from Josh Heupel and this coaching staff. It's just different styles, but he said no. He doesn't want to push the commitment time frame up, wants to take his official visits. He's got fall officials scheduled with Texas A&M, Colorado, Kentucky, and Tennessee. And, you know, when you look at wide receiver and having Braylon Staley in this class, having Mike Matthews, which, man, saw some clips floating around on Twitter, retweeted those out. Go check out at Boogie Bentley. Those guys are making plays as a senior in high school right now. Excited about them, but Tennessee needs to add more wide receivers. Cam Michael is a possibility. Ryan Wingo, what happens with him? Right now, the noise is around Texas and Missouri. And again, as we talk about NIL and the NIL state laws in Missouri, is that going to send Ryan Wingo elsewhere? We'll see how that one happens to play out. We'll also see if Ryan Wingo pushes his commitment date back instead of taking it all the way to the finish line like he had mentioned. One last guy I want to mention here, Danny Okoye. Made a video on him a couple of days ago. Priority. I think Danny Okoye is a priority on the edge. We've been in panic mode. We've been talking about Rodney Garner. We've been questioning recruiting. But here we sit in August, and Rodney Garner has a chance to add Danny Okoye and Jordan Ross, both in this class of 24, and continue to add two legitimate edge rushers in every single class. And you've also already got Kellen Lindstrom, a four-star edge rusher, already in the boat. But you can see four-star prospect, 6'4", 240, out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. This is from on3.com. Trimmed his list to the top 6 over the weekend. He's in no rush to make a decision. Numerous schools still feel they have a shot at the 4-star, but if there's one trending heading into the fall, it looks like Tennessee. When Okoye was in Knoxville earlier this summer, he felt at home there, and a strong buzz that the Vols have put itself in a good position, planning to take many visits in the coming months, and those will have a big impact on his decision. One of those visits will be to Knoxville, going to be in town, I believe, for the South Carolina game. So I just wanted to put out a huge, massive recruiting update and just kind of go through it all. So again, to recap, Tennessee, Camarion Franklin going to be making his decision tomorrow. I do not feel good about that. I do not feel confident. I think it is Auburn or Miami. Jordan Ross, let's pay attention to Camarion Franklin. He ends up at Auburn. I'm going to feel real good going into Monday's live stream for Jordan Ross. Chris Cole, I think it's probably 60-40 Georgia if I had to guess, but Tennessee getting him on campus the day before the decision is absolutely huge. Jordan Seaton, 4-star offensive tackle, long way to go. Cam Michael, Ryan Wingo, can they add another legitimate speedster at the wide receiver position in the class of 24? And then wrapping things up with the 4-star edge, Danny Okoye. Also still working Cam Fountain, even though he's committed to USC. Tennessee still making those phone calls and going to try to get him on campus this fall. But jump into the comments section. Let me know your thoughts. How does Tennessee finish out this class? Make sure you smash the thumbs up on the way out the door. Go check out the merch, bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. And don't forget, if you want a chance to win this hat, hit that join button down below. Only $1. You can give more if you'd like. You members, you guys that hit that join button and support this channel, you are the reason that I get to do this every single day. So I am grateful for you. Thank you for the support. It means so much, man. I love the community that we are building here. Don't forget to join us tomorrow for the commitment of Camarion Franklin. Again, even if it doesn't go Tennessee's way, a lot of stakes, a lot to talk about on that live stream. But that's going to do it for this one. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.